Peru is rich with pre-Columbian history. While many are familiar with the Incas, few have heard of the chachapoya. High in the Andean rainforest, the people known as the Cloud Warriors were absorbed into the Inca Empire.
The incorporation of the Chachapoya territory was a bloody process.
Without written records, scientists must study their grave sites and their mummies for clues about the people themselves.
This is the big gap that we have in pre-European history in the continent.
When you see a mummy, you see the best connection you can make to a person that was living 1,000, 5,000, or 10,000 years ago.
Now, archaeologists and geneticists are uncovering surprising details about one of the most mysterious civilizations in the Americas. Who were the Chachapoya people, and why did they vanish? Between the steep gorges of the Peruvian Andes and the rainforests of Amazonas, scientists search for clues about an enigmatic people called the Chachapoya. The cloud forest where they lived is often called the Ceja de Selva, or eyebrow of the jungle. It's also where they buried their dead. High on the cliffs of Carahia, overlooking the OFTHB Valley, are 6 figures, placed there over 500 years ago. They are Puru Manchu, the Cloud people's most impressive sarcophagi, and each contains human remains.
You still have the original, almost intact sarcophagi that are still incastonated in the slope of the mountain. Because these ones are so inaccessible, they remained there, sort of dominating the valley.
The Puru Manchu stood guard to ward off evil and to gaze upon their living relatives in the valley below.
So they would have placed them in the slope of the mountain, and they would have destroyed the path to reach their position so that you cannot go there anymore.
They were installed nearly 9,000 feet up a vertical rock face, sometimes painted with red, white, yellow, and black pigments. A 7th sarcophagus toppled off the cliff during an earthquake in 1928, built from a mix of clay, straw, and mud mortar that was spread over cane stalks. Each protects bones and other relics. The dead were found in fetal positions, wrapped in cotton blankets and facing forward. Many other Chachapoya grave sites and cemeteries are hidden within the caves in the region.
Every crevice, every small alcove or cave in this area has human remains.
Bioarchaeologist Dr. Sonia Guillen is the world expert on the Chachapoya culture. She's the director and founder of a nonprofit center in Lema Bamba, built to house the ancient remains that her team has recovered outside Carahia and throughout the Chachapoya landscape.
We try to remove as many of the mummies, remains, skeletons, isolated bones that had been placed and had been left.
Now in the Centro Malki Museum, they sit together like a lost tribe, eternally silent, but speaking volumes to the archaeologists who study them.
We are showing evidence of our history. We are showing evidence of how people lived and who they were. But the emotional part, the connecting part is very personal. Otherwise, I would say it's better for these remains to be left untouched.
The Chachapoya were skilled embalmers.
The soft tissue is removed through the decay process, through animals, through time, and eventually they put together the bones, the nails, the hair, and wrap it up and put it into a package, and they put it in a special cemetery area, in a special burial site.
The final stages of the mummification process were left to the cold, dry climate, which helped to preserve the remains.
The way they prepared the deceased, the way where they placed them, the way they wrapped them, the way they were presented with elements of their daily life and offerings indicates that they had a connection to their ancestors, and they were visited, they were treated, they were not only remembered, but they were maintained in their daily life as ancestors.